Welcome to week 13 of Neutral Zone Reaction. It is so good to be back. What's up, Brady?
What's up, Jules? How we doing?
We're doing great. I have been so tired all day, but I'm juiced up to talk football today. There is so
Oh
much
yeah,
to talk about this week, and I have some flaming hot opinions on some things in the NFL right now. So let's get
all
right
right,
into it. What do you want to
let's go.
start with?
I think we got to react to what just happened this week. I mean, it was a busy week of football. It
It
really
really
was.
was.
I mean, we start off with our Bears. Not really the Bears, but what do we think of Mike White? I mean, is he
Mike
is he the
White,
guy in New York? Is he going to take them to the playoffs?
he's
Get them in
so
the playoffs?
elite. I actually, with all the jokes aside, he's good. Like
He's mid.
this guy actually might take the Jets to the playoffs. As
I'm gonna be
crazy
honest.
as that
Mike
sounds to
White
say.
reminds me a lot of Jimmy Garoppolo. He gets the ball where it needs to be. I'm not going to overreact and freak out because the Bears defense is probably the worst defense I've seen an NFL team show ever. Like the Bears defense is like beyond anemic. But I mean, he looked quick, he looked decisive, he was efficient, he looked comfortable. His teammates like him. I mean, I think they can win a lot of games with Mike White.
I agree with you. He does get the ball where it needs to be. He makes plays. He's getting the ball to their playmakers. I mean, Garrett Wilson caught 2 touchdowns. When's the last time we heard his name this year? He was supposed to be
Last time Joe
a big
Flacco started.
impact player for them.
Yeah, it's not a great look for Zachary Wilson out here though.
Yeah,
We should
I
have known
wouldn't
when
be
he was
surprised if
freaked
they
out at
roll
the
with
draft.
Mike.
You remember that picture of the draft where all the recruits were throwing like up signs and shit, and and he's looking around like,
Oh yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
so funny. We should have known at that. Well, we did know at that moment.
We did.
BYU does not produce NFL quarterbacks. Wyoming does. All these other schools do,
That
not BYU.
that picture is so funny.
It's not the video
They're
clip.
all just like
They're all like,
dripped out
yeah.
and got their grills on
And
or
he's like,
whatever, and then Zach's just
he's
what?
like, I don't
Just
want to be
standing
here. He's like, Mom, come get me.
there. Yeah,
He's
exactly.
like, call up his mom's friend, like, come pick me up. You know.
Dude, I know. Let's talk about the guy on the screen real quick because I put a featured player on the screen every week. Josh Jacobs went off for over 300 yards, and the Raiders propelled the Bears into better draft position. Of course.
Love
Do you
to see
think
it.
do you think the Raiders are starting to figure it out, or do you think the Seahawks are falling apart, or is it a little bit of both?
I think it's mostly the Raiders. I mean, I don't think the Seahawks. Josh Jacobs had a career day. The Seahawks lost in overtime. I certainly don't think they're falling apart in any way. I'm still locked in with my picks for Seattle doing well this season in the awards category. But yeah, I think the Raiders are starting to figure it out. I mean, Derek Carr's getting the ball to Josh Jacobs, Devontae Adams, the right people. They got Waller coming back in a couple weeks. Their defense is still like slightly better than the Bears, but that's not saying anything. I mean, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to return to form. I still think Derek Carr is gone after the year, but I don't think they're not the 2-7 team they were a couple weeks ago.
That is unfortunately where I'm going to disagree with you. I think the Seahawks are falling apart. I don't think there is any way you should be allowing the Raiders to score 40 points. They have done nothing on offense the entire season to prove that they're capable of winning a high-scoring game.
Okay, what do you think Derek Carr's done every year before this year, though? That's what he does.
He's
That's his
been a
signature
middle
thing.
of the pack quarterback every year before this year.
No,
What do you
he
mean?
wins shootouts because his defense is anemic.
It
It happens
doesn't-
every time he faces a good team. Every win Derek Carr has against a good team is like a 40 to 35 game. He never beats good teams 2017. It doesn't happen. The Raiders are incapable of that. Like, think about every time he's ever played Mahomes or beaten Herbert. Like, it's always like 35, 31,
I like how
29,
you said
30.
played Mahomes or beaten Herbert because he doesn't beat Mahomes.
No, he's beat Mahomes like twice, I think. There was
I
one
don't
time
think
2 years
so.
ago where like they had a comeback. I don't remember what it was.
I'm not so sure about that, dude. If you're really starting to talk up Derek Carr again, there's no way. This is what
I'm not
happens.
talking about Derek Carr, but you're undermining the Raiders' offensive capabilities. They're not that bad.
Josh Jacobs is in a contract year. He's gonna fall right off a cliff next year after they hand him the bag, or someone's
Well,
gonna
yeah,
hand him
that's
the
what
bag.
everyone's like.
That's
I mean,
what
yeah,
I'm
but they have
thinking.
to pay him. He's like not 80% of their offense. Yeah. So kind of flipping back towards Seattle, we know they're kind of falling down a little bit, but who's atop the NFC right now?
Who's atop the
Eagles,
NFC?
Niners. I mean, who's up there?
Well, we talked that other week
Vikings.
about the Eagles and Niners being up there, but I'm gonna say right now the Niners defense
Is on another
woo,
level.
They're
No,
convincing me more and more every week that I should have placed the future on the Niners to win the NFC. They they
if
are
you placed the future on the Niners to win the NFC, Trey Lance wouldn't have gotten hurt and they would have been below
no,
500
no,
right
no.
now.
I mean, like middle way through the season when I said on the podcast when I was like the Niners are like 5-5 right now, but they're gonna win. They're gonna win the NFC.
Yeah, we both said that.
We did. That's true. Um. Well, no, I convinced you into thinking that the Eagles would lose and not right. Something like I don't even remember. That was a few weeks ago. But right now, the Niners look like they're gonna win the NFC because no other NFC team has shown consistency, and
Yeah.
I think or not the Eagles. I think the Niners really have.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think the Niners are sitting atop the NFC. I mean, the Eagles and Vikings are good. I think the Vikings just don't have the consistency, I feel like, to make a run. Like, they're good. I think they can beat
Mhm.
anyone, but they can lose to anyone.
The Eagles?
Like, no, the
Oh, the
Vikings. Like,
Vikings. Yeah.
they're projected to be a 2 seed. If they're most likely they're gonna end a 2 or 3 seed. They're gonna win their division. I
Mhm.
don't think they pass the Eagles. I think them and the 49ers could flip. I think either one's possible. I mean, the 6 and 7 seeds right now, the Giants are okay. Giants are gonna make the playoffs. Let's get that out of the way.
We know.
I think the Commanders, which I want to talk about in a minute, the Commanders make the playoffs. I don't know who else is gonna make the wild card, to be honest. I mean, the Seahawks.
No, I don't think so.
Who's gonna
Well,
make the last wild card?
let's
Who's
look at
the
the standings
last
right
2
now.
wild cards? Because
Uh,
the Eagles and the Cowboys are going to be Cowboys and Eagles. Whoever doesn't win that division is going to be the 5 seed. Who's next?
yeah. Let's see. Shoot, it might be the Seahawks actually, because I think the Seahawks would make it over the
I mean, think
Giants.
about who else there'd be. No one from the NFC South is making a wild card.
Commanders, and the Cowboys.
Between the Commanders, the Giants, it's the 6 and 7 seeds between the. Sorry, I'm looking at my board over here. It's between the Giants, the Commanders. What's the Cardinals record? The Cardinals suck. The Cardinals record's bad.
4-8. Literally
Yeah,
half
they're
the
out.
NFC is 4-8.
The Cardinals and the Seahawks. And I mean, yeah, I mean, I think it's a 3-team race. And I think the Giants are the worst team out of those 3.
I agree with you there. I am just itching to say this one take, which I told you earlier in the week. I had some hot to say.
But real quick, you're going to be itching for another minute. What do we think of the Washington Football Commanders? They had the worst statue of villain I've seen in the history of the universe.
Who did they play again last week?
The Falcons. They won 19-13. They got a pick in the end zone at the end of the game.
Oh, that's right.
They are winning these games close and ugly, but they are 6-1 over their last 7, and they are currently I believe they're the 7 seed.
And that one loss was against the Vikings when they fell apart at the end and could have won.
Yeah, they should have won that game too. So
I think the Commanders are for real. I think that and now Chase Young, after I've been saying it for
Chase Young is
weeks,
big.
He's
Nobody's commenting on the Chase Young thing. Chase Young is a premier pass rusher. I think getting him back is going to be huge for that football team.
Mm-hmm.
I think Heineke's playing better and better. I still don't think Heineke. I don't know if they can win playoff games with Heineke though. Actually, I'm not going to say that because Heineke shows out in the biggest
They
stage.
find ways to win.
They do find ways to win, but they just don't score that much. I mean, like they're barely beating these teams.
They're winning games. They're like TCU. Speaking of,
What? Yeah, and TCU just lost in the big game.
Brutal that they finally lost, but the way the Commanders have been winning games is kind of like how TCU's been pulling off these wins all season.
Very fair.
But I don't want to talk about the college football playoff right now. I'm a little salty about it.
Because Tennessee should be in there if they could have beaten.
Somehow get in. But anyway. Aside from that, let's move to the AFC real quick. Because before I say my little piece, let's talk about the Broncos real quick. They are finally getting fed up with Russell Wilson. You can tell it's been brewing all year. You lose to the Panthers. You don't just lose.
They didn't lose. They got annihilated by the Panthers. It was 23-3 at one point.
What happened to the Denver Broncos? You would think, oh, these two teams, they're both garbage. It was the Super Bowl rematch of a few years ago. They were wearing the same jerseys.
It was like 7 years ago, Jules.
That was 2016, right?
2015.
Oh, that was 2015.
That's when Cam Newton won MVP, Jules. These are like ancient times.
Yeah, I was in like 6th grade. I was just getting nostalgia watching the Broncos. They only play each other like every 4 years or so. But
all right, whatever. Keep talking.
But I think that the management's finally gonna have to do something.
No, I just remembered.
I don't think Hackett lasts the whole year. I think he's got 2 weeks left, personally. And I
There's a
think
total side note, but I remember in that game, the Panthers Broncos Super Bowl, the Panthers played Russell Wilson Seahawks. This is a good story. The Panthers played
oh, is it
Russell
a good
Wilson
story?
Seahawks. It's a story, yeah. They played Russell Wilson Seahawks in the NFC Championship game. I was rooting for the Seahawks,
No, they
and it
didn't. They
was
played the
30.
Cardinals, and they blew them
No, they
out.
played the Seahawks,
I'll bet you
and it
10 bucks
was
right now.
31-0 at
10 bucks.
halftime. And my dad had to go to the store, and he was trying to get me to go with. I'm like, no, I want to watch the game. I think it's not over. And he's like, no, it's over. It's over. We're leaving. He told me the same thing when the Cubs were down 3-1. And it's like, it's over. It's over. I'm like, and then he finally made me go. And I remember I got home. I looked at the score. And this is before I followed on my phone. And the Seahawks lost by 7. And I was so pissed that I didn't get to watch that game. Okay, but anyways,
I'll still
because
put 10 bucks down right now that was not the NFC Championship.
I will. I'm
Match
not gonna
it?
bet it, but I'm very confident that
You
was
want
the
you
shit.
want you want to match it? My
No,
hand
I'm
my
not.
hand is out here to shake.
I'm not bet. I've had a bad streak recently. I'm not betting.
Yeah,
But
they
back
played
here,
the
Russ.
Seahawks in the divisional round, and they played the Cardinals in the championship with Carson Palmer.
Yeah, I love Carson Palmer. Carson
Yeah.
Palmer never made that. Oof.
Yeah, Carson
Wait,
Palmer
what
led
year
the
was that?
Cardinals to the NFC Championship that game. That's the year that they beat the Packers in that
Yeah, I remember
insane.
that. Oh, that was a divisional round. Was that the same year? Wait, yeah, you're right. Okay, that was a divisional game then. My bad.
Mhm.
It happens.
But that's also the game where Cam Newton was like that iconic video of him looking on at the Seahawks all running through the tunnel.
Yeah, and they put
cutout.
up 31 in the first half.
Yeah. But let's get to something that I have been wanting to talk about all week and have had to wait till Saturday. I watched that Jaguars Ravens game. Oh, what a game. It was so exciting to watch that game. And Trevor Lawrence looked like every bit of the first overall pick that he was. Every clutch gene in him from Clemson, he just so delivered when they needed him the most. And you know what? I'm going to call it right now. I think next year, Trevor Lawrence leads the Jaguars to the AFC South title and wins MVP.
You think Trevor Lawrence wins MVP?
I think Trevor Lawrence, I'm saying it right now on live YouTube. Trevor
bold.
Lawrence will win the 2023 NFL MVP award.
That is the boldest thing I've heard. Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm not going to hate. Trevor Lawrence is a beast. I mean, I've been saying it all year that he's been good and he's been better. You were hating on Jags earlier in the year, too.
I was,
you?
and he has.
You were hating. I was like, nah, they're fine.
Mind.
Trevor Lawrence is just getting his footing down.
He has completely changed my mind.
And yeah, I think the Lawrence versus Fields debate is going to be a fun one. I really do.
Yeah, and all the other quarterbacks from that class are going to fall out of the race just like we knew they would.
Well, yeah, because Mac Jones has a defensive coordinator trying to call an offense. Dude, I feel so bad for Mac Jones. The Patriots are falling apart.
Yeah, I know.
But he has no shot. Trey Lance and Zach Wilson, I think, are bust.
I agree with you there.
I don't know. I think the Fields-Lawrence argument's unfair because Fields is in a dumpster fire.
Well, they're
and
two
Trevor
totally
Lawrence
different.
is in a mess situation. Trevor Lawrence has a talent around him. Justin Fields has nothing.
But Trevor Lawrence is making the guys. He's making Christian Kirk
Trevor
look
Lawrence
like
is
an actual wide
right
receiver one, and he's making Zay Jones. Zay Jones has done nothing in his career.
Trevor Lawrence, he reminds me of Andrew Luck.
He's got this guy getting 100 yards a game almost.
No, Trevor Lawrence he's literally Andrew Luck. He's just balling for no reason. He has no talent.
But it's not for
not no talent. He has limited talent around him. And he's a dude.
A prime example of what every pocket passing NFL quarterback desires to be.
True. Well, he's not.
I don't.
Okay, that's not fair to label him that because he can move. He can move.
I don't care if the Jags are just the way that this year has gone with them losing all these one possession games. It reeks of a team that will rise to the top next year out of seemingly nowhere, and it's because they're gonna get all these close wins next year. I think.
Well, no, they're gonna be a better.
T-Law's gonna be in the MVP conversation.
Do the Jags have money next year? Didn't they spend a ton this year?
I'm sure they have money. They have one of the youngest teams in the NFL.
I guess. Well, they're not paying Trevor anything, so they probably do. Yeah. Trevor Lawrence, he and Justin Herbert are the only two right now young pocket passing quarterbacks you could say that are good.
That are good. Yeah, We're probably forgetting someone, but yeah, I agree with you
I
there.
mean, okay, I'm going through my
The
list.
accurate. Oh, but did you watch the
Oh
last
no,
drive?
Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow.
Yeah, Joe Burrow. Did you watch the last drive of that game?
No, no,
Trevor
I
Lawrence
did not.
made every single throw that he had to in the places where only the receiver could get it.
Mhm.
Even on fourth down, he had this great pass to Evan Ingram on like the sideline. He then at the very end of the drive, he puts the ball in the corner of the end zone like Ben Roethlisberger to Santonio Holmes, and can't remember which receiver came down with it. But I'm just watching this. I'm like, oh my goodness, this is.
Yeah,
I don't care what happened any other game this season. That drive enough, and this isn't overreaction Monday. We've waited all week for this take to settle in my mind and think about this.
we. I haven't
I
cared. This
don't
is
think
all we
it's an
did.
overreaction. I think this guy is for real. He's legit.
Okay, being for real and being an MVP next year are totally different.
Well, when I say for real, I mean this guy's for real.
For
This guy
real.
is a dude. He is
Oh, of
gonna
course he's a dude.
ball
He's been
out
a
next
dude
year.
since. Bro, he's been a dude since he was like a sophomore in high school. But
Exactly. We've known this whole time that
yeah, no,
him and
Trevor
Justin
Lawrence.
Fields have been 1-2 since the very start of time.
Yeah, and that's exactly what's happening. They're 1A and 1B. But
But
yeah, no, Trevor Lawrence is
T
a
Law's gonna
beast.
take that next step next year.
I think T-Law and Fields will take that next step.
I don't think Fields will just yet. He still has just
You don't think next year he's going to take that step?
no. I think this year was that first step, and the next step is once they surround him with a capable
No,
O line, and he
Fields,
has time to pass in the pocket and get
in
out.
my opinion, the Bears are like half a year behind the Jaguars.
I think we're 3/4 a year behind. I
The
think
Bears
that's
are
fair.
3/4 year behind the Jaguars and a year and a half behind the Eagles.
Yeah, but they also have Doug Pearson, and you were right at the start of the year when you said that was going to make as big an impact as it did because the players love him. The players are all playing better than
You know,
than
some
you
guy
would
said he'd
think,
like give his life for Doug Peterson.
and we've still got a first-year head coach, and we've got a first-year offensive coordinator.
Yeah, and they're going to grow and be improved next
Yeah,
year.
so I think we're a little less than a little more than a half a year behind the Jags.
Yeah, but I think when Fields gets a lot more talent around him and also an off season, like I remember there's a reporter I follow on Twitter and he actually coincidentally covers the Bears, the Eagles, and the Jaguars. And he was saying, comparing Fields and Hurts at the beginning of the year, and he was saying how Fields looked like Hurts 2 years ago, and how
Okay.
Hurts is miles ahead of where Fields was
Yeah,
at the
yeah.
beginning of the year. Like I just think like Fields as a runner, he's perfect. But as a passer, he's just gonna get better and better. Like we've seen it with Lawrence. Like Lawrence was a okay passer last year, but he was in a tire fire. He was a decent passer at the beginning of this year. Still a lot of mistakes, still inefficient, and now he's growing into like an elite thrower of the football at the NFL level. He always has been at his level, but at the NFL level, and I think Fields is going to get that. It's just going to take more time considering his talent, considering the talent around him and the new coaching staff.
Hey, didn't T-Law lead the league in interceptions last year, just like Peyton Manning did in
No,
his
I
first
think Burrow
season?
did.
Let me see Trevor Lawrence stats, and let's see.
I think who leads the league in interceptions this year? It's somewhat surprising, I think.
I don't know. Last year he had 12 touchdown passes to 17
No,
interceptions.
Matthew Stafford led the league in interceptions last year.
Oh, that's probably true. Yeah, but yeah, 17 interceptions last year, and now this year he has 6. I
Who?
mean, that means next year it'll go down even more probably.
Lawrence?
Yeah, Lawrence.
Not necessarily. No, I mean, 6 interceptions aren't that bad. Like they're
Yeah,
bad, but at the same time,
but still, I'm seeing this big improvement from him.
point is, interceptions are not a super telling stat. They can go through the receiver's hands. They can be on Hail Marys at the end of the half. Like,
yeah,
interceptions are not always what they seem to be. But anyway, moving on, I found the Loch Ness Monster of the Year.
the Loch Ness Monster of the Year. And what would
I know
that
we're
be?
talking about Fields. So the Bears, let me tell you about the Bears this week. Their best player on defense right now is currently an undrafted rookie free agent. Their 2 starting safeties are out. One of their starting corners is out. Their other corner who rotates in, their third corner, is questionable, likely out. Both their right tackles are out. So they're down to their third string right tackle. And their number 1 receiver just got hurt for the year.
Mm-hmm.
And Fields coming off an injury.
Mm-hmm.
And they're only 3.5-point underdogs to
Are
Aaron
we going
Rodgers.
to this week in Vegas now?
Yeah. Sorry, I forgot a little graphic thing.
Yeah.
Packers minus
Gotta put
3.5.
us on screen.
Packers minus 3.5. You got to put your mortgage on that. You got to put your house. You got to put your house. You got to put your car. Dude, put your life insurance, health insurance. Put everything you got on Packers minus 3.5. It is. You can change it to 2.5 if you're scared of the curve because Fields will have some heroic play to make it close. But I mean, what? Like, bro, the Bears have like literally like a backup practice squad. Claypool, Fields, and Jack Sanborn out there tomorrow.
I'm gonna have to.
And they're getting 3.5 points.
I'm gonna have to back you on that on the lock.
Of course, you're going to. I've watched the Bears. I watched every snap of the Bears this season.
Packers minus 3.5 on here today.
I mean,
I hate
I've
to
watched
say
every
it,
snap of this Bears season.
Hey,
they have anemic talent. They have the worst defensive talent I've seen
in a long time.
It's not even respect to them, but their best defensive players they're putting out tomorrow is an okay D tackle, Justin Jones.
Wait, is Kyler Gordon playing?
No, he's out. So is Brisker.
He's out. Is Jalen Johnson playing?
Jalen Johnson's playing.
Okay, he's our best player on defense.
He hasn't played that well this year, but
yeah, but no one's played that well this year.
Fair. Point is, Aaron Rodgers is going to have 12 touchdowns. Christian Watson is going to have like 8 of those. Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon are going to rush for 5 apiece. I mean, like, it's going to be a disaster.
I know.
My score prediction earlier in the week is like 30-50, and I think I'm going to stand by that.
Did you say 30-50?
Yeah.
Ooh. Has there even been 50 points scored in an NFL game this year?
There will be tomorrow.
Yeah.
I mean, Rodgers always shreds the Bears.
He does. I'm not looking forward to that game. I'll
I mean,
say that right now.
we're gonna lock in the number 2 draft pick, hopefully. So that's the plus. But I mean, it's gonna be. I don't even want to watch the game. I'm gonna be honest. I just want to skip to when we're on offense. Like okay, Rodgers, I don't know if he's got. I'm gonna be honest. I don't know if Rodgers is gonna throw an incomplete pass. Like he might not.
What 28 for 28, 3
like 28 for 20
yards
yeah.
and 5 touchdown passes.
Not even. He'll be like 20 for 20 for like 400 yards, 7 touchdowns, probably like 30 rushing yards.
How soon before they put Jordan Love in?
Well, Jordan Love will be in the third quarter. It'll be like because the Bears should be able to score, but like I don't know when it's like 20-48 in the fourth quarter or something. Jordan Love will get a few snaps.
Yeah,
and then he'll probably throw a touchdown too. But it's a disaster.
You out of breath now? All that talking about how they're gonna murder us.
Sorry, watching the Bears defenses takes years away.
I know. That was both of our first picks, so I'll get to my second pick and let you catch your breath for a minute.
Mm-hmm.
One of my big predictions for this week. Well, not even a big prediction. The most exciting game of the week is the fact that Deshaun Watson is riding into Houston this week.
I remember I said at the beginning of the year, Houston is going to be a madhouse for this week.
Exactly.
And I don't think I'm going to be wrong.
We have a reel on Instagram that we put up that one week.
Yeah.
Just talking about it.
I have a friend who we're both 6-6. We're in the last spot and the first spot out of the playoffs, and we play each other this week. And he's starting Deshaun Watson.
Oh yeah, I'm playing against Deshaun this week also.
He's also a Browns fan, but shout out Per Duffin. But yeah.
Yeah,
I need Cleveland to get to him. I need Houston to go off on him.
Yeah, well, I don't see that happening. I have the Browns by 1 million. I have the Browns -8 when you look at the actual lines. It doesn't matter. Browns by anything. If you think Deshaun is going in there and not going to absolutely shred the Houston Texans, then something's wrong with you. He's going to
I feel better about fantasy now that you think that.
The Browns are back. I'm kidding. The Browns are not back, but they did save their season last week. They did save their season. 4-7. It's very feasible that they can win 5 of the next 6 games or however many are left. Wait, yeah, 5 of the next 6. If they win 5 of the next 6, they're 9-8 and they get the last playoff spot.
Wait, which team is this?
It's possible.
The Browns?
Yeah, I know.
I have to look at their schedule.
It's unlikely.
I mean, okay, what's the AFC playoff picture like? They got the Bengals and the Ravens in their own division. The AFC East is probably gonna have 2 playoff teams too. I mean, like
that's the thing. The Ravens.
I mean, the AFC East is loaded. I mean, I think the Dolphins, Bills, and Jets all make the playoffs.
The Ravens are 7-4. Bengals are 7-4, and the Browns play.
Yeah, no, there's no shot.
Teams.
Dude, there's no shot the Browns make the playoffs.
The Browns.
Listen
play
to the teams
both
ahead of the Browns.
teams.
Okay, these are the wild card teams ahead of the Browns right now. The Chargers, the Dolphins, the Jets, the Ravens. That's 4 teams, all better than the Browns. The Browns are not making the playoffs. I'm sorry.
Oh, I agree. I don't think they will, but they are more in it than you might think because all it takes you're seeming to forget that if they beat Cincinnati and Baltimore, if they
That's
probably
cool.
won't, they probably
I don't
won't.
know what the Vegas odds are on that one, but they are quite low.
I'm aware they're low, but if that happens, that's a 2-game swing. Suddenly, Bengals and Ravens don't move up at all that week, and the Browns are boom, 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 catching back up. Bengals and Ravens still play each other again this year. They're gonna hurt each other facing that game. We could end up with a week 18 Bengals Ravens game that is for the last playoff spot.
Mhm.
I don't think the
Yeah.
Browns will be competing for it, but I'm just saying Bengals Ravens week 18 is probably going to be the Sunday night game
Yeah, the
because
Ravens are actually my
that
next pick.
AFC race
They're
is just shaping up to be winner takes the North.
yeah, I got the Ravens 9.5 against the Broncos this week too. The Ravens
Okay,
defense
that's
is
a good pick.
nasty.
That's a good
The
pick.
Ravens defense is good. I don't think much needs to be said. I think they're gonna blow out the Broncos.
That's one of
But
my most respectable picks that you've taken this year, which means it'll
considering I have
probably
a
lose.
considering I'm like four games ahead of you, 5 games ahead of you, I'll take it.
I know I had probably the worst. I went 0-3.
Yikes.
I
I
had
would have gone 3-0, but you convinced me to change to the Bucks last week. I had the Chiefs minus 15.5, and then I switched to the Bucks from you.
Oh no.
I know it's tough out here.
You should know by now not to listen to me when it comes to spreads. Come on now.
I try not to listen to you with anything, but yeah.
Yeah, I had the Texans, they were so close to the backdoor cover of the plus 15 or whatever I
They
had, plus
lost by
14,
15, right?
and they went for two twice and got neither of them. And I'm like, no, I would have had it.
That's hilarious. I'm sorry.
I
That's
know.
so
Well,
funny.
when
Classic Texans.
you texted that in the group chat about saying
When they
like,
were
oh,
up
the
30
Dolphins
nothing, I
are
texted the
blowing them
group
out,
chat,
and
nice
I was
pick,
like,
Jules.
I saw you text that, and I was so ready to come in with a reply to that after the game and be like, "What? Say that again? Are the Texans not going to cover?" Because I knew they were brewing up something to have the most backdoor cover, and they
They did
finally
not
do
deserve
it
to cover. They
and
were out by
can't
30.
get the 2-point conversion either time. If you kick one of those extra points, then they cover. Tough luck.
Tough luck.
So that was your second pick. So we're both 2 picks in. My last pick, I don't know how on earth they're underdogs, but I'm gonna. I got this wrong last week. I'm gonna take the Chargers again. They're
Oh,
plus
thanks.
2 at the Raiders.
Ooh, I like that. That's good.
Yeah, I saw that
Dang,
line. I'm
they're
like,
underdogs
there's
at
no
the
way the
Raiders?
Raiders should be favored.
Wow, that's a good pick.
Raiders are on a 2-game win streak. You think they make it 3? No shot.
No, the Raiders don't know how to win consecutive games. That's respectable. I like that. My
Yeah.
last one's a little iffy, but we talked about it earlier. I got the Commanders -2 against the Giants.
I like that pick too. Okay,
I think
it
I think the
seems like
Commanders
the
are a
lines
better
are being
team.
generous this week. There's a lot
What?
of clear things that you're like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, we're going off this week, but
Man,
yeah, I think the
we gotta go to
Commanders take care of
Vegas and be the
business.
new odds makers and make these lines a little more
Yeah, really.
on the edge.
We're all saying this. We're probably gonna go like 1 for 2 each, but that's
Oh,
okay.
of course. Let's go back to Levi Stadium and wrap it up for the day with I don't know, anything you got going into this near end of the playoff race?
I've got a flaming take that I don't know if you're
Ooh,
gonna like it, but
okay, let's hear it.
I think I don't know. I'm not gonna guarantee it. I'm not gonna say I think it's gonna happen, but I think there's a very real possibility that Lamar Jackson's not in the Ravens next year.
Look at us. We're both going back on our week 1 predictions. You
No,
having
no, no,
Lamar
no, no.
win
I said
MVP
Lamar
and
was
me
gonna
having
play
the
well this
Jags
year, and he
being
has.
horrible.
Lamar led a game-winning drive last week to take a 7-point lead on the Jags, and then his defense choked it and gave up a touchdown and 2-point conversion in like a minute and a half to Trevor Lawrence magic.
Yeah, but they
But
got 4 field goals in the first half and couldn't turn any of that into touchdowns.
okay, but he had 3 drop touchdown passes.
Got
Like
it?
no, I'm
Tell
dead
your
serious.
teammates to be better.
No, I'm dead serious. He literally had 3 drop touchdown passes in the first half. They
Yeah,
should have blown
I
out the
did
Jags.
remember Mark Andrews dropping that one.
It was one. There was a receiver over the back of the end zone. Lamar scrambled to hit him, hit his hands, dropped it. And then there was another one where it was like a pop pass. Something went through the guy's hands. Point is, it was bad. And I think the Ravens are playing themselves out of contention to re-sign Lamar. I don't think he's going to want to. I mean, think of all the teams that need a quarterback. Imagine if like the Jets signed Lamar Jackson. That's disgusting.
A little sign and trade, send Zach Wilson to the Ravens.
That's a Super Bowl contender right there.
Hey,
The
they could.
Jets sign Lamar. Matt, what if the Vikings sign Lamar Jackson?
What if the Jets trade Joe Flacco back to the Ravens, and now they
That'd be
have a new
hilarious. No,
quarterback?
but I'm serious. Like, what if the Raiders try to sign Lamar Jackson? I'm just saying, there's so many potential spots that would pay Lamar Jackson like 12 bags.
That's true.
I
You're
mean,
right.
he would get bank. And I mean, not saying anything against the Ravens, but the Ravens are losing these games. And the Ravens are losing these games not, I don't know what I'm saying. The
They're
Ravens are losing
finding
these
ways to
games.
blow leads.
They're finding ways to blow leads, and it's not on Lamar. Most of these games are Lamar's team laying down. It's not even coaching. It's just the players around him and the team around him just falling apart.
I think Harbaugh is getting fired this year.
I don't, but
I
I
think
think his job's.
I
I think
think
his
this could
job's
be a
very
Lovey
stable.
Smith scenario where they finish something like 10-6 and still fire the head coach.
I think Harbaugh's safe for what he's done for the
If
organization, but I think
personally,
that
if
Lamar
he
is getting impatient. He's getting annoyed. I don't blame him. I think he's going to look elsewhere this offseason. I don't know if he's going to happen, but I think he's going to consider it, and I think it's going to be a real possibility.
Lamar has been on this team 4 years now, right?
Yeah,
Five,
four
is it
years. They
4 or
didn't pick
5?
up his fifth. I don't know. Did they pick up his fifth-year option?
I don't remember. But either way, how many times have they made it to the AFC championship with this guy? 0. How much talent have they have had so much talent on this team. And the Ravens are think about if you don't have Justin Tucker on that team, think about how many more losses the Ravens would have too. Harbaugh is not the answer there anymore. It's not 2012 anymore. The Ravens are not going to win another Super Bowl with him. I think they cut the cord this year personally. I think
Really?
it really is like a Lovey Smith. Lovey made it with the Bears in 05 or 06, whatever year it was. And then we just kind of tailed that for years and years. And then even when we had a winning season, it was like we didn't do enough. You're out of here. I think the Ravens will do the exact same thing. If they've had so much talent on that football team pass through and come in, and they make trades, and they get Marcus Peters, and they get Roquan Smith, and they just every year they make a trade, and they get guys in the draft, and Marlon Humphrey is a really solid corner. They have so much talent and still
Yeah, it's
find ways
unbelievable how
to
they're not
lose.
winning more games. It
Harbaugh
really is.
will be gone at the end of 2022.
Wow, that's bold.
I don't think
You
it's
know what?
that bold though. I mean, it might
I think it is
sound,
bold.
but I think if they don't make it to the AFC Championship game, he's out 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, there's my end of episode take.
I mean, I don't know if they're a top 5 team in the AFC right now. I think they get beat by. I think the Bengals beat them. I think the Chiefs beat them. I think the Titans maybe beat them with Ryan Tannehill. I think the
Dolphins
Jets
beat
can
them.
beat them. I think the Dolphins can beat them. And I think the Bills beat them.
It's more than 5 teams.
Yeah, it'll be an interesting rest of the season and offseason for the Ravens and Lamar and John Harbaugh. That's for sure.
It really will be. And there's so many teams in the market for a quarterback. He could go anywhere.
There's always teams in the market for a quarterback.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Yeah.
that's what we're gonna wrap up today. It was a good time, and I will
Yeah.
see you later. We'll see y'all next week on Neutral Zone Reaction.
Well, yeah. Have a good night, everyone.